Last time.
Because here, you will die.
Here we go. Ray told him they'd practice, so they headed to a field on the outskirts of town. Toono said it would be a good place to practice. The opening space had decaying rocks here and there, and the grass had grown densely. They were probably the ruins of a building left by toucans. In the middle of the glade, Conway turned to face Ray. A cold wind passed through the two cats. I realized when I fought those twin cats, I can't face an opponent with a Senga if I don't have one too. You should learn to control your power as soon as possible. Before that, I have something to say. What? While staring at Ray's blue eye gleaming in the moonlight, Conway pursed his lips. I have something I want to talk to you about. Speak. After I tell you, there's no going back. Oh? Conway's gaze fell to his feet. My body. This curse is probably something way more complicated than we think. There's something else going on. Someone is plotting. I feel like I'm being tested. By whom? I don't know. Although it's invisible, it's this enormous presence. It could easily crush my life in the palm of its hand. I know you probably just want my powers as a Senga, but you should know that something worse is happening to me too. Stopping with these words, Conway slowly inhaled. The air entering his lungs was cold. He turned his eyes from his feet to Ray. So, if you really want to be involved with me, you have no choice but to shoulder that weight too. It'll probably be hard. Those twin cats might return. That's why. And that was why. For some reason, he wasn't able to find the words. Conway lowered his head again. There was no response from Ray. The silence became heavy. Lift up your face. Ray's tail started to sway. In response to his heightened senses, Conway's ears flattened. He lifted his face. Ray calmly looked his way. I should have said so before. Whatever curse may come, I won't complain, no matter how extensive it is. At this point, you can't worry about it. Everything's already been put into action. He gave a small nod. So don't look back, unless you want to lose your footing, and maybe even your own life. I decided my path the moment I chose to train you as my Senga. Got it? Ray stepped forward, gazing into his blue eye. Conway couldn't look away. If you have the time to think, then look ahead. Your true enemy isn't some curse, or some stupid shadows or destiny bullshit. It's you. If you give up, if you don't want to lose, you have to stay strong. Ray insisted, with the moon as his backdrop. Yep, fuck destiny. Stay strong. That voice echoed distinctly in his mind. Then Conway felt his anxiety and fear slip away and vanish. What remained afterwards surprised him. Ray was strong, not only in the physical sense, but in the ability to resist anything that the world throws at him. He's stubborn, a strength that could leave an impression on others. What was there on the other side of that? So if you understand, let's get started. We'll discuss it after we return to the inn. Conway looked at Ray anew, as though he'd just snapped out of a dream. Before long, they came out into a small but wider low-lying road. Toono stopped and stood before a small house. Both Ray and Conway stopped and checked behind them. It didn't seem as if those twin cats would pursue them here. Here, come in. Toono opened the door, inviting Conway and Ray inside. When Toono closed the door, he stooped forward, his shoulders heaving with exhausted breathing, until he let out a huge sigh. It's been a while since I've run like that.
Where are we?
My house. My dad went out peddling, so I'm just here alone. I was surprised. The streets got rowdy all of a sudden, so I thought there was something going on and I took a look. Then I saw you. I didn't expect to see you in Ranson. When I went to Kauru for business, you weren't there. The village cats were on edge too. A lot of them asked me about you.
I see.
Konaway's voice softened and sounded a little gloomy. Toono took out something from his coat pocket. It was a coin. You left that there, right? It's rare to see you handling money. I thought something may have happened to you. But at any rate, I'm glad I ran into you here. A little while ago, I saw you running away. What happened? Konaway fell silent. He bitterly recalled the void in the forest. He couldn't just explain it all so suddenly. That would make too much sense. Huh? Your ears? Your tail, too? When Konaway looked up, he met Tokuno's startled eyes. He inadvertently touched his head. His hood had come off. It was because he had been sprinting at full speed. He could hear the sound of blood rushing to his ears. Tokuno's eyes moved from his ears down to his feet, even though he knew there was no point. Konaway curled his black tail in a ball behind him, trying to hide it. They weren't this color before, right? What should he do? I don't know. Trust your friend? What's the worst that can happen? I mean, he either turns out to be your friend, really, or not. Not that that's very comforting. Yeah, that sucks. He didn't want to think about it. What would Tokuno think of the state he was in now? Maybe he wouldn't think it was so bad. Or maybe he would think Konaway was creepy. He slowly clenched his sweaty palms. Lowering his head, Konaway bit his lip. Every second that ticked by pierced him like a needle. You're an awkward little shit, Konaway. Finally, Tokuno let out a small sigh. Well, it's alright. Everyone's situation is different, yeah? I'm your friend, so you can tell me. If you're not in like a hurry or anything, I'd be happy to hear your story, if you'd like. Thank fuck for you, Tokuno. At least one person isn't awkward as fuck. Huh? Konaway looked at Tokuno. Nothing had changed. He was smiling just like always. The base of Konaway's tail trembled. He tried to speak, but felt tongue-tied. Guess we shouldn't, just pop up like this, huh? Oh, not at all. It gets pretty boring here by myself. Tokuno welcomed them into his room with a wave of his hand. He was a little leery, but there was no reason not to believe Tokuno. Why are you a little leery then? Nevertheless, he was glad things had not changed here. Konaway wholeheartedly let himself feel relieved. He raised his ears and tail before nodding. Ray turned his back and put some distance between them, then turned and crossed his arms. There's several ways to learn a song. I heard that a Sangha always has a song of their own. We have our own songs? I don't know. Maybe it's second nature for a Sangha. First, let's see you call forth a song. How do I do that? Remember what it was like when your song emerged, in as much detail as possible. He didn't understand even when Ray put it that way. He controlled the urge to argue with him and tried to remember the situation when Konaway sensed his song for the first time. Closing his eyes, Konaway took a deep breath and exhaled. The darkness of the memory concealed his vision. He extended an invisible hand to explore it. Certainly that time, Ray's business rivals flew into a rage and attacked him. And then, sent into a spiral of pain, Konaway was washed away in a muddy stream. He thought that he would drown in feelings. At that point, he heard music. That melody. That... It's no use. Konaway forced his eyes open again. Ray watched quietly with his arms folded. Konaway noticed his forehead was beaded with sweat, and he began to pant. At that moment, he definitely felt something. Konaway knew something was there. But when he tried to remember it, his body shied away. From deep inside of him, there came a sensation like that of being uprooted, and he felt fear. "Take it easy. Did you feel anything at all?"
No.
"If you feel even the slightest thing, pursue that sensation next time." Relying on Ray's words, he closed his eyes for the second time. Breathing slowly, he pursued the lingering reverberations of the previous feelings. Extending a hand, Konaway caught the tail of the memory. Cat jokes. The whirlpool of pain, the muddy stream, the melody he'd heard, the fear dashing through his mind. Konaway couldn't escape it. He wanted to open his closed eyes. The memory then became very vivid. It was as if Konaway was actually there. It might consume him like this. Even the burning of his nerves seemingly revived. Konaway nearly collapsed. Sweat trickled down all over his body. A white flame blazed. He began to see the choppy images of something. Long, fluttering clothes. The poet? The bitter pain vanished as if it had been just a lie. His field of vision was enveloped in a white flame. However, it wasn't hot. It was a flame similar to the light. The sound of the rumbling, muddy stream became distant, and instead music began to sound constantly, growing stronger and stronger. The poet played, but he could not be seen. But Konaway knew it was him. His heart was filled with warmth. Relief spread through him. Konaway was able to breathe. Then, suddenly, he felt warmth. The song, the Sanga's song, wasn't to bestow power. It was not meant to be forced out either. Konaway's stomach became very warm. White flames rose from within him and wrapped him up, sending strength to every corner of his body. The fragments of the melody were unlike anything he'd heard before. This was his... When Konaway opened his eyes, he saw tendrils of light flowing from his body and moving to Ray. Ray's body glowed intensely. But then Konaway heard a sound like crackling in the air, and the light faded away. The white flame as well as the melody vanished, bringing a silence as if nothing at all happened in the field. Yet, the heat remained inside his body, and his heart still raced. Ray gazed at Konaway quietly before finally opening his mouth. "That time, when you had closed your eyes, I began to hear bits of a song. It made me feel truly full of power."
"So, I did it?"
"Seems like it." Just then, Konaway felt his strength leave him. His knees were shaking, and he could stand no longer. When Konaway was about to tumble down, he felt something support him from the back. When he looked up, Ray's face was before him. As it was expressionless, Konaway did not know what he was thinking. Reflexively, he averted his eyes as he became aware of his situation. He had been caught in his arms. Ray's arms.
"I'm alright now. Let go."
I don't think you really do understand the situation, Konaway. He was about to hurry and get off when Ray opened his mouth. "The deep trust between a Sangha and a Toga will develop their abilities. But if both of their hearts are not as one, there's no meaning in their individual abilities. It's something you might call a bond." At the end of Ray's sentence was a mix of laughter and ridicule, and Konaway felt his anger boil.
"Are you saying that it's impossible to be a partner with me?"
"Not you, no. I'm talking about me."
"Huh?"
Not understanding what Ray meant, Konaway frowned. Ray let go of Konaway and turned away. A strange, awkward feeling floated in the air. While gazing at his back, Konoe was puzzled. He never knew what Ray was thinking. Next time.
What the hell is this? You mean I just learn a new song by remembering stuff?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I don't know. What the hell do you want from me? I just stab things. God.
You said you knew about this stuff.
Kinda. Hey, did you forget about me?
Oh shit, that's right, you're in this game too. Hey. Are you ever gonna come back?
Maybe. I mean, I hope so. Someday. Don't forget about me. Oh, who fucking needs you? Go scratch a tree.
Hey. Oh, how's it going, everyone? Oh, no, don't fight. Oh.